Hey everybody, it's Saturday, March 13th, and I need to give some background to what I'm doing here. You saw me weigh in a couple days ago, and my initial weight was 406.6, I think it was. And I talked about how I wanted to share my journey to hopefully, inspire other people that are struggle with weight like I do. As I said before, I struggled all my life with it, but it's not just about losing weight. It's about um, regaining my lifestyle, regaining my life. I have six beautiful kids, and I can't hardly do anything with them because my knees are shot, and that's not just because of my weight, but it certainly makes it a ton worse. And my doctor said I needed to lose weight before he would even do the replacements because he said, too much weight will make them wear out way too fast. And the second surgery's replacements are just, he said, it's just really, really bad thing. So I need to lose weight so I can get my knees replaced so I can try and keep up with my very active kids and wife for that matter. She's amazingly active. I'm in my 50s, and I don't know. I just started to think that time's running out, not to be over dramatic, but I mean, just like thinking that I'm not going to have, that many chances. And I felt like this might be my last one to get my health in order. And I'm not a health nut that ranks that as the most important thing in life. The most important thing in life to me is my faith. Um, and I know my value doesn't come from how I look, or my physical appearance. I might even share some of my favorite Bible verses with you guys later as we get into this. But I wanted to give you some background. So the background is that I'm in my 50s, as I said. I've struggled with high blood pressure, hypertension. My blood pressure was in the 160s over high 90s, which my doctor said, if you don't get that down, you're going to die. And so it put me on like 3 different medications. And my goal is to get off of them, by getting my weight in a good place. So I just woke up a few minutes ago and took my blood pressure, and it was 121 over 76, which is probably the best, blood pressure that I've had in a while. And I am off 2 of the 3 blood pressure medications. Just taking the 1, and my doctor said to cut it in half. I need to get a splitter so I can do that because I haven't done that yet. I'm only into day 3 of what I'm doing, which I'm going to share with you guys here in a second. It's not just a normal diet. What I'm doing is I'm fasting. And the absolute only thing that I have taken in my mouth is water plus my nighttime medications. That's the only thing I've consumed. And when I tried to weigh in Wednesday night, remember when my scale aired out because I was over the limit. It was a 400-pound scale. That was the night that I stopped eating. Wednesday night it was my last food consumption. So I went all day Thursday, all day Friday, and today's Saturday morning. So I'm into day 3 of absolutely nothing but water. And yesterday was pretty rough, drinking. I feel like my mouth is just dry and cottony. In fact, I might have trouble talking too long because I still feel that way this morning. I consume a lot of water, but it just never really changes that feeling in your mouth. Just kind of thick and cottony, like you're, I don't know, trying to swallow sand or something like that. Well, trying to swallow cotton, not really sand. It's not like I have a sore throat or anything like that, but yeah. So for those of you who have never, fasted, it is a pretty cool experience. I've done it for, I think, up to a couple weeks before. That was like a long time ago in college, and there's a lot of great benefits to it, but it is hard. It's hard to get through the what I call the wall when your body just screams and fights and basically says, you know, that it wants to be the most important thing and superior, and wants to, have you bend to its will, and it wants to be fed, and just extreme hunger pains, sometimes cramping, headaches, lightheadedness, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, that wall, as I understand it, comes at a different time for different people, but usually between a 3 to 5 day range. And once you break through that wall, then it's really bizarre, because you just all of a sudden won't be hungry anymore at all, because your body will go into, I think it's called ketosis. I'm no expert here, folks. I've done a little bit of reading on it, but most of that was 20 years ago when I fasted more often. So I'm going off memory here, so please don't quote me and think I'm talking all scientific or anything. But when you go into that stage where your body starts to burn fat, and start to feed itself off of your reserves, which is a pretty healthy thing. That's why God created our bodies. And the only thing that happened to me when I did it a long time ago for 2 weeks, the only thing is that sometimes you struggle mentally, but you don't have any physical hunger pains. It's pretty cool when you break through that wall. So I'm hoping that I break through that wall by tomorrow, Sunday, so that I can get back to work, because I am employed, praise God, and I'm blessed with a work-at-home job, which is great. But at the same time, one of the downsides is that I sit at my desk in my home office doing nothing, and I've gained weight beyond being overweight. I gained even more ever since I started this job, because I'm just not active. And of course, like I said, I have shot knees, and in my younger days, I could eat whatever I wanted. I never gained weight because I was so active, and I mean pretty active. College volleyball, basketball in high school, every other sport you can think of. Very athletic. Probably couldn't tell by looking at me, I know, but very athletic, and it was counterbalanced to my poor eating habits. I ate whatever. I ate out fast food all the time. I love sweets, breads, carbs. I mean, everything that's bad for a guy my age that struggles with their weight. So since my knees went bad, after college, I just continually have been struggling with my weight in most of my adult life. So I would love to get back to, a healthy weight. And like I said, get my knees replaced and regain my life. So if any of you out there are going through the same thing, I just want to be an encouragement to you. Like I said before, I thought about, videotaping all of this and then maybe posting it after the journey was over. But I felt like, you know what, let's go ahead and start posting this at some point in time early on in my journey, so that it is, how do you say it? It's a challenge. I'm not going to wait to see if I succeed to share my story. I want to challenge myself to succeed. There's so many times that I've tried to fast, in the last 20 years, where I would break it after a day or two. You just give in. You have those mental debates and battles with yourself, and you come up with a reason. Oh well, I can't do this because of this. I better stop because of that. I'm working. I can't be lightheaded. I have to be sharp. It's just amazing how any little excuse will convince yourself to give up. And so one thing that I did, this time to hopefully keep myself from failing, is I created a list called, Reasons to Persevere. And I just started writing some things down. Some of them are pretty personal. I'm not going to share every single one. And they weren't in any particular order. I just started, writing things down. Be able to play volleyball with my kids. They're big into volleyball. And I can't. I think Friday night last week, I just went to watch them, and then I helped my wife coach a little bit, and I was just standing there, on the side of the volleyball court. And after a couple games, I couldn't stand anymore. I had to sit down. My knees were achy just from moderate walking, the sidelines. Couldn't even watch them standing up. I had to sit down on the bench, and then I went home before they were even done playing because my back was hurting. I'm carrying so much weight in my gut that it's constant strain on my back, so my back hurts a lot, pretty severely after just being up. So when I start to struggle and start to think, okay, maybe I've done it enough, I'll, call it a good try and maybe try again later. I can't do that anymore. I have to persevere. My goal, believe it or not, is to do a 40-day fast, which some of you might think, "What? Are you crazy? You're gonna die?" It's not as bad as some people might make it sound. It's not. Well, maybe it is starvation diet. I don't know. It's not starving yourself because once you go into ketosis and you get past that wall, your body's getting everything that it needs, from your reserves. Some people need to be careful, if they're diabetic and other things, because it's not something that everybody can do if you have certain medical conditions. But as long as you don't have, the medical conditions, and again, I'm not an expert, just from the things that I've read and studied. As long as you don't have certain medical conditions, you might be a candidate to do a long fast, and your body's not starving. Your body is feeding itself off of the reserves. As much reserves as I have, I could probably fast for 80 days. I don't know. I've never done it. But I say 40-day fast because that's just, a general term for a really long fast, just as long as you can go. Hopefully, um, if I'm successful, I'm going to go as long as I can, whether that's 40 days or 35, 50. It's whatever my body tells me. After you get past that wall and you're no longer hungry, it'll feed off its reserves, and then one day you'll just be hungry because your body will say, no more reserves left. So whether that's 40 days or more or less, I don't know, but we're going to call it a 40-day fast, so you guys know what I'm talking about. But whenever I think, well, maybe I should stop, I read through this list. And I think about all the things that I would like to have back in my life. Fit in my clothes, walk, hike with my kids, fit on an airplane without being embarrassed and having to ask for a seatbelt extender, and not have people, once you are seated, I'm sorry, actually, when you're walking down the aisle, not have people think, oh my gosh, I don't want that guy to sit next to me because he's so big, Be able to bend over to even tie my shoes without getting winded and losing my breath. So. Anyway, sorry, you'll learn. One thing you learn about me is I get emotional, and that's what my dad was. He cried. He cried. Wasn't afraid to cry in public or cry in front of people. I admired him for that. Anyway, I want to be an encouragement to folks out there that, and I'm not saying you have to do a 40-day fast, but whatever you're doing, to try and regain your life, maybe this is an encouragement to you, and we can do this journey together. And it's not about being successful every time you try. It's about never giving up. Keep getting up. Keep trying. We'll get into a whole lot of other stuff later, as far as things that I've already learned in my life. They're going to help me through this journey, understanding, like I said, that you have to have really good reasons to do it. You can't be doing it for reasons that aren't valuable, like, worrying about people think about you, or, we got to get past, valuing ourselves based on, what society, puts on TV all the time, and magazines and everything like that, glorifying skinny, handsome people. Our value comes from the inside. And I don't know you and you don't know me, but what I do know is that God created you and values you. And there's giftings that He's given you that nobody else, has in that exact combination, that exact mix. So just know that you matter, and He loves you so much that He came out of heaven, died on a cross for you. That's how much you matter. You may not be religious, you may not believe in all that stuff, and that's okay. I'm not trying to shove anything down anybody's throat. I'm just sharing with you my faith and why I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that even though I don't know you, that I know that you're valuable. And no matter what anybody says or what, maybe you have people that tear you down, maybe you have people that have harmed you. But a lot of times, we stay in those situations because we're too weak, to get out. We don't believe that we deserve better. And I can tell you that you deserve better. You're valuable and you matter. So be encouraged today. All right, so last thing for today is I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to walk into my bathroom and get my scale up and do a weigh-in. I'm not going to weigh in every day. At the minimum, I'm going to weigh in weekly, maximum maybe a couple times a week. So we're 3 days in. So go and see what's happened. After a couple days of just taking water, we were at 406.6. So let's see where we're at. Hang tight. All right, got it set up. Get ready to step up. Here we go. $398.4. That's pretty good. So what is that? That's 7. Wow, that's 7 pounds. So probably mostly water weight or whatever. But I could even use the other scale, the one that goes up to 400 pounds. But we'll keep checking in. On the weight. Every 3 or 4 days or every week at least. I'm going to create a calendar where I write it all down as well, so I don't forget. Because I'm sure after 4 or 5, 6 weigh-ins, I'll totally forget, how I'm tracking. So I'm going to print out a calendar and just write down the weights as I check in. I'll share that with you guys through the journey. God bless everybody.